Tomb Raider just dropped a massive bombshell that completely changes the game for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Now, since the release of Shadow of the Tomb Raider back in 2018, Crystal Dynamics has been, well, they've been quiet. Like, really quiet, which made the sudden recent activity all the more significant. I mean, we knew they were cooking something up with Amazon games, and we knew Unreal Engine 5 was involved, but honestly, nobody expected this. Instead of just one game, we are getting two massive titles that are basically going to define the next generation of Lara Croft. We have Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis coming potentially this year, and then the heavy hitter, Tomb Raider Catalyst, following it up in 2027. And look, this isn't just a rumor or some sketchy unverified source. This is arguably the biggest roadmap reveal we've seen for the series in over a decade. Now, you know what they say. Usually whenever there's smoke, there's fire. And with that being said, a bunch of insiders have been yapping about a unified timeline for years. And it has me all the more excited because these two games are finally making that a reality. So, you're probably wondering, what exactly are these games and why is everyone losing their minds over them? First up, we have Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. Now, if you're an OG fan, that name probably rings a bell. This is effectively a ground-up remake of the original Tomb Raider game. But here is where things get interesting. It's not another origin story. We already got that with the Survivor trilogy. You know, the 2013 game, Rise and Shadow. Those games were about Lara becoming the Tomb Raider. Legacy of Atlantis is about Lara arguably in her prime, or at least the start of her professional career. It's built on Unreal Engine 5 and it's serving a very specific purpose. Think about it. Why would they release a remake right before a major new sequel? It's a strategy we've seen before, but usually it's a quick cash grab. In this case, it feels more like a tech demo that turned into a full game. It's like they're building the bones and muscles of the new engine with a story we already know, so that when the new game drops, the gameplay is already perfected. It's actually a genius move if you think about it. Like, if they can nail the movement, the swimming, the dual pistols, which, by the way, we haven't seen in a mainline game in forever, in Legacy of Atlantis, then the foundation is set for the next big title. Now, this brings us to the main event, Tomb Raider Catalyst. This is the game that's coming in 2027, and this is the one that is truly the next-gen experience we've been waiting for. According to the details we have, Catalyst is going to pick up the torch from Tomb Raider Underworld. And that right there is huge. If you played Underworld, you know that was the end of the Legend timeline. By positioning Catalyst as a successor to that, Crystal Dynamics is basically telling us that the Survivor era is done, and we're moving back to the classic acrobatic dual-wielding Lara Croft that arguably put gaming on the map. So this raises the obvious question, why go back to the Underworld timeline now? What is the reasoning? Now, you have to kind of put your tinfoil hat on for a bit. Like, we know that the Survivor trilogy was critically acclaimed, selling millions of copies, but there was always a divide in the community. You had the people who loved the gritty survival aspects, and then you had the people who missed the isolated, puzzle-heavy tombs of the 90s. By using Legacy of Atlantis to reintroduce the classic style, and then Catalyst to push that narrative forward, they're trying to marry both fanbases. It's a match made in heaven scenario on paper. You get the high-fidelity, gritty graphics of the modern era powered by Unreal Engine 5, but you get the attitude and the confidence of the classic Lara. And let's talk about that engine for a second. Unreal Engine 5. We've seen tech demos, we've seen The Matrix Awakens, but we haven't really seen a massive action-adventure game push it to its limits yet. Tomb Raider has always been a benchmark for visual fidelity. I mean, remember the Tress FX hair simulation in 2013? That melted graphics cards back in the day. Now, with Unreal Engine 5, we're talking about Nanite geometry, Lumen lighting, the works. The reports are saying the visuals are hyper-realistic, and honestly, I believe it. If there is one thing Crystal Dynamics rarely misses on, it's the art direction. But it's just really interesting that we have this two-game punch. It feels like they're trying to make up for lost time. It's been nearly 8 years since Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That is an eternity in the gaming industry. In that time, we've seen God of War reinvent itself twice, we've seen Horizon start and finish a massive arc, and we've seen Uncharted basically retire. Tomb Raider has just been sitting on the bench. So yeah, seeing them come out swinging with two titles back-to-back is the kind of aggressive strategy the franchise needs. Now, there is a potential downside here, and I think it's important to stay grounded. We've seen this happen before where a studio tries to do too much at once and both projects suffer. Remember when we thought we were getting single-player DLC for GTA 5 and then it just never materialized? Or how Cyberpunk promised the moon and launched broken? The risk here is that Legacy of Atlantis feels like a paid demo and Catalyst feels rushed. However, the fact that Amazon Games is publishing Catalyst gives me a little more hope. Amazon has infinite money, and they are desperate for a win in the AAA space. They're not going to let their flagship partnership release in a broken state. At least, that's the hope. And honestly, I'm at the point where I don't even care about the wait if the quality is there. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 took forever to come out, but when it did, it was a masterpiece. If Catalyst needs until 2027 to bake, then let it bake. But that's why Legacy of Atlantis is such a smart play. It fills that gap, it gives us something to play in 2026, it lets us get used to the new controls, and it revitalizes the hype train leading into the big release. Now, one thing that has me really curious is how they're going to handle the unified timeline story-wise. They've said that the events of the Survivor trilogy are basically the prequel to the events of the original games. So, in theory, the Lara we see in Legacy of Atlantis should have the memories of Yamatai in Siberia. It's going to be really interesting to see if they rewrite the dialogue or change the cutscenes of the original game to reference those events. If they do that, it makes everything connected perfectly. If they don't, then it's just a shiny coat of paint. Personally, I hope they do the work to connect them. It makes the character feel more complete. So yeah, bare minimum for me, like when it comes to Legacy of Atlantis, is a 60 FPS mode and controls that don't feel like a tank. The original Tomb Raider is legendary, but let's be real, it controls like a refrigerator on ice skates. If they can modernize that while keeping the difficulty of the platforming, it will be a massive win. And for Catalyst, my expectations are off the roof. I want big tombs, I want complex puzzles that actually take brain power, and I want combat that feels punchy and rewarding. Now, with that being said, the timing of this announcement is also crucial. We're right in the middle of a console generation that feels like it hasn't really started yet. Tomb Raider Catalyst being a 2027 title means it is likely going to be purely current gen, or maybe even looking at the PS6 by the time it gets delayed, because let's be real, games always get delayed. But assuming it hits that 2027 window, it will be one of the defining games of the late PS5 era. So, when could we see gameplay? If Legacy of Atlantis is targeting a release this year, we're bound to see a trailer any moment now. The fact that store pages and press releases are surfacing means it's imminent. I'm a firm believer that usually whenever there's smoke, there's fire. And with that being said, the fire right now is burning bright for Tomb Raider. We went from zero news to a 2-year roadmap. Talk is cheap and screenshots can be fake, but this strategy feels focused. It just makes sense. But that's going to wrap it up with this video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Do you think Legacy of Atlantis is necessary? Let me know down below. Like the video and subscribe if you're ready for the new era. And until next time, this has been Touzo, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.